We bring the Plague Father's blessings to an empire starved of mercy. We are the sons of Barbarous, a world slain in ignorant rage. We are the Death God. We are the 7th Legion.
G'day guys, Mac here with the Outer Circle, and welcome to Nurgle. This is the 7th Legion. Yes, we're talking all things Nurgle this week, and hang on a minute. 7th Legion aren't Nurgle supporters. They're the Cat Eaters of Dawn. Oh, damn it. I'd feel really embarrassed if I made a video where I called them the 7th Legion. That would just be stupid. Ugh, the Nurgle aren't the 7th Legion, they're the 14th Legion. What the hell does the 7th Legion look like? Oh, it's the yellow guys, of course. G'day everyone, I'm Mac here with the Outer Circle, and welcome to the Imperial Fists. Yes, this week on Building Your Legion, we are talking Imperial Fists. Now, what have you got to know about the Imperial Fists Legion? First off, all your heavy support squads, Legion heavy support, have tank hunters, which is very handy considering they have a lot of anti-tank weapons. Second off the bat, everyone who has any type of bolt weapon, bolt pistol, bolt gun, quad heavy bolter, combi bolter, they're all ballistic skill +1. Makes your HQ's ballistic skill 6, and it makes your regular line infantry ballistic skill 5. Now for those playing at home, combi bolters on Terminators, 2s to hit with rerolls to hit. That's pretty damn good. Also, on top of this, you are immune to pinning tests when you're inside fortifications, inside cover, or behind barricades. And lastly, just like the Iron Warriors, if the opponent wants, they can force you to play an extra game turn without having to roll for it. Nasty stuff. You think you've got the game wrapped up, you're sitting pretty on objectives, the enemy's there, about to charge you, you know it's down to a dice roll, and the opponent just says, yeah, fuck it, let's have another turn. And there's nothing you can do about it. This is of course hilarious when Imperial Fists or Iron Warriors verse one another, and they can both make each other play the extra turn. I find that funny. So, with all that out of the way, let's build our army. First off, Alexis Polux. Why do I pick him? First, he's fucking awesome. I mean, look at the guy. I'll even give you a beautiful 3D panoramic view of him. He exemplifies everything you want with this Legion. He's got the big Power Fist / Solarite Gauntlet, which is your special weapon. Basically an AP1 Mastercraft Power Fist, which is fucking brutal. He also has the shield, which you can run as a storm shield. Because you're Imperial Fists, you do get storm shields. They add +1 to your invul save. So you need that Iron Halo, you can't just take the storm shield. You could take a refractor field and a storm shield, but then you may as well just pay for an Iron Halo, so he also has this lovely Mark III armor, and it's not too ornate, too over the top, it looks good. Plus he comes with this lovely Iron Warrior banner which is draped over his base, just as a fuck you to the Iron Warriors players, which is pretty thematic for the Imperial Fists. Not that they have a grudge or anything, they're actually immune to grudges, they just have this sort of duty and honour thing going on, but anyway. I pick him because he works well as Polux, he also works well as a standard Praetor with a Solarite Gauntlet and the Storm Shield. You can run him as a Centurion with a Breaching Shield or some such. You do get benefits to having a shield when you are in an Stone Gauntlet Rite of War for the Imperial Fists. It's a very good Rite of War. Basically, you add +1 toughness to your troops, yada yada, if they've got shields and they're within a certain amount of inches of one another. Not important for right now, because Rites of War I generally stay away from unless they're pertinent to how you play the army. In this case, Imperial Fists are very viable outside of their Rite of War. So, with all the words aside, Legion Champion and Master of Signals. Imperial Fist champions are brilliant in close combat, so he's worth a look in. However, the one you really want from this kit is the Master of Signals. I'll tell you why later. So, the Imperial Fist Task Force. This is the bread and butter, the infantry in the army. Why do you want them? What do you get out of it? Well, look, the example on the screen is the Forge World Imperial Fist Task Force. This is good if you want to have all the fancy upgrades and that kind of thing. Me personally, I only use the upgraded heads and chests for veteran squads to make them stand out. However, I do think you get more value for your money out of the Betrayal at Kelth set because you get Cataphracti Terminators in it. And Cataphracti are worth more to you than having Mark III power armor. Now, to supplement your troops that you get in the Imperial Fist box, breaches. You want at least 10 of these guys, if not 20 of them. Why? Because of the Stone Gauntlet Rite of War. Again, it's one of those things that is just brutal. Plus, Ballistic Skill 5 bolt guns, they're quite good. Now do keep in mind, breaches in regular games of 40k are not as good as Tactical Marines. They come into their own in Zone Mortalis. Now, out of your Tactical Marines, I only suggest running 2 squads of Legion Tactical Marines. The third squad, well, we'll save them for later. Now, again, your breaches would be your primary go-to for Zone Mortalis, and if you're running the Stone Gauntlet Rite of War. But I think they're still worth it as a supplemental force to your standard Marines in regular games. Free advice, feel free to take Graviton guns, or not. Definitely do not, under any circumstances, take Las Cutters. You're throwing your points away. On top of this, Space Marine Apothecaries. They're an elite's choice. You can take 3 as a single elite slot. Get them, at least 2, put them in with your troops who are on foot with breaching shields. Stone Gauntlet Marines with Apothecaries are brutally hard to take down. They have a 3+ save, they have a 6+ invulnerable, which increases to 5+ in close combat. They have defensive grenades, so -1 attack to you when you charge them. They also have, of course, Feel No Pain thanks to the Apothecaries, and their Toughness 5, so good luck killing them with any kind of speed. And of course, because they're Void Hardened, when you hit them with templates and blast weapons, they get to reroll failed armor saves. So they get 2 chances to pass that 3+, and then they get a 5+ Feel No Pain on top of it. Yeah, hard to take down. Now, the Imperial Fist Legion Cataphracti Storm Shields. You can buy these on their own, add them to the 5 Terminators you got in your Betrayal at Kelth box set. Not only that, grab a couple of Elastus Pattern Assault Cannons, just for the extra dagger. 2 of these guys in the squad still means you have 8 members who have 3+ invulnerable saves, and you'll have a bit of extra firepower thanks to the assault cannons and a bit of rending firepower at range. I think it's a good way to run them. And remembering, Stone Gauntlet, they become incredibly tough to take down. Taking the Storm Shields with Tartarus armor, I don't think's fair or in the spirit of the rules. So, yeah. Secondly to this, get a squad of Cataphracti with the Storm Shields and add it to what you've got. Get a full 10-man unit or 2 5-man units. Well worth it. Personally, I'd go for the 1 big 10-man unit so they can take a few extra losses. But that's just my personal preference. On top of this, Legion Rapier Quad Heavy Bolter. Get a full unit of 3. Their Toughness 7, their Ballistic Skill 5 because they're Imperial Fists. 2s to hit, twin linked, 6 shots each. They can put out an incredible amount of firepower. They will munch, absolutely munch, through Solar Auxilia, Imperial Militia, and anything Mechanicum that's not a monstrous creature. They will just dish out the wounds, because most of those units only have a 4+ save. They're not getting a save. And of course, being Toughness 7, you're quite hard to take down in return. You're immune to pinning when you're inside cover, and generally you're going to put these guys inside cover on top of a building, that kind of thing, where they can use range and line of sight to their best advantage. So, Rapiers, do it. Of course, all lists need a Contemptor Dreadnought. I think almost every list I've made, except for the White Scars, has a Contemptor Dreadnought in it. The Contemptor Dreadnought is your bread and butter. You can take it with assault cannons and give it that multiple ability to shoot down aircraft or kill infantry. You can take it with Power Fist and a Siege Wrecker so that you can just fuck up buildings and vehicles and heavy infantry. It's up to you how you run it. Twin Volkites are a good option. But of course, you have the 3 Rapier Heavy Bolter platforms, so I probably wouldn't go for the Dakka platform, I'd go for the Punchy platform. Speaking of Dakka platforms, the first heavy support choice. This here is your anti-air. The Deredeo Dreadnought with Arachnus heavy Lascannons. This thing will punish flyers. Now the heavy bolters may not be worth it on this guy, surely for the fact that they're not going to hurt aircraft in most circumstances. I would probably opt to give it heavy flamers in case infantry get the drop on it, and then at least you have some kind of defense that's going to do damage, because at least they can cover a lot of people. You can overwatch that kind of thing. The Lascannons themselves will just decimate a flyer that's dumb enough to get caught by them, and of course the Garlic Aioli missile launcher on top, brutal to aircraft. Doesn't need line of sight, 60-inch range, always hits the side armor. Yeah, it's only strength 6, but it's AP 3, so you got options. On top of this, Rise Up Pattern Lascannons. So you remember that 10-man squad of infantry I was talking about at the start of the video? How you'd have 2 squads of your Betrayal at Kelth infantry as tactical marines, or maybe even 1 big squad of tactical marines? And then your 10 remaining guys, you're giving them Lascannons. Why? Well, your ballistic skill 4, true, but you've got tank hunters. Now ballistic skill 4, I'd like to improve that. That Master of Signals I mentioned earlier, way back at the start here. The Master of Signals, what does he do? If he doesn't fire, he gives a unit within 6 inches, plus 1 ballistic skill. Yes, now we're onto something. Not only that, the Master of Signals gets an orbital bombardment at the start of the game, which isn't too bad, a little supplemental buff. So yes, you can have a 10-man Lascannon squad for many, many points. Give them Void Hardened, so they get to reroll saves against those nasty blast and template weapons. And of course, Lascannons hitting on 2s with Tank Hunter. You are going to put holes in things. Granted, Land Raiders and Spartans with flare shields on the front, you'll only be able to glance them. But you will get at least 1 glance each turn. Probably more. 10-man squad of these, you're going to hit with probably 8, maybe 9 if you're lucky shots. And out of that, you're probably going to cause 3 hull points, maybe 4 on average, because you're getting 2 dice, picking the highest. Well, not quite like that, but you know, close enough. Of course, the last heavy support choice, the Deimas Pattern Whirlwind Scorpius. This is a power armor killer. So, you know that you've got good heavy bolters in the army. You can carve through infantry like butter, whether they're Solar Auxilia, Militia, even light Mechanicum stuff. You can hurt Myrmidons with your heavy bolters. But the Whirlwind, this gives you something that kills Astartes. You can be dropping this thing on their heads while you advance with your breaches, firing their bolters at ballistic skill 5 and laughing at the enemy. Now we're right at the end, and the very last object, the Imperial Fist transfer sheet. I have one behind me, in fact. It is an excellent transfer sheet, one of the better ones. Plenty of Legion symbols and icons on it, which is always good. It's got more than 10 of each icon. Also fantastic, the Night Lord's decal sheet, which we'll get onto next week, only has 4 decals often of the one type, which is just stupid. But yes, I digress. You get Raptora Imperialis emblems, you get Imperial Aquillas, or early Aquillas we should say, some fantastic veteran symbols, the crossed axes, fortification symbols, all different kinds of stuff. This is a fantastic Legion decal sheet. All of the decals on it are good. It is not like other decal sheets, so I think it's worth investing in. Now, Imperial Fists are one of those factions that I've built So it's nice and simple. You get straight into that bolter gameplay. But they're a legion that scales up in power very fast when you give them things like the Stone Gauntlet Rite of War. And that's what this list is aimed to do. It's to allow you to go straight into that Rite of War if you want. That's why I've included breaches, that's why I've included storm shields. I could have gone for an all bolter armed Terminator force, but I thought no, storm shields, that gives you options. On top of that, realistically, because of the way that the storm shields work, being on their own arm, you could magnetize the arm at the shoulder, in theory, and be able to just use what you want for each game. Perhaps you want to go for combi bolters one game and shields the next. Perfectly acceptable, as long as it's outside of a tournament setting. So yeah, there you have it. That's the Imperial Fists in a nutshell. Alexis Polux, Legion Champion and Master of Signals. A Betrayal at Kelth set. Legion Breaches, at least 10 of them. Space Marine Apothecaries, at least the 2 of them. Cataphractii Storm Shields as an upgrade to your Betrayal at Kelth Terminators. Elastis Pattern Assault Cannons as an upgrade to your Terminators. More Terminators. A Legion Rapier Quad Bolter Battery. You want 3 Quad Bolters. Remember, they're an Elite's choice, not a heavy support choice. An Imperial Fist Contemptor Dreadnought, because it can punch the fuck out of things. A Deredeo Dreadnought with Arachnus heavy Lascannon batteries, because he kills tanks and he kills aircraft. Very well. Never forget, aircraft are a threat. You don't see them often, but when they're there, you are gonna be pissed off if you didn't bring some anti-air weapons and something nasty is flying around overhead. Riser Pattern Lascannons, because you don't just want to make tacticals with that Kelth set, you want to kill tanks. The Whirlwind Scorpius, because you want to kill power armor. And Legion Decal Sheets, because why paint all those symbols, why use resin shoulder pads? That's just silly. And of course you want Mortarion, the Demon Primarch of Nurgle, and of course a Feated Bloat Drone, but that goes without saying. You are of course the 7th Legion. Now, as a final little note for this video, the reason Space Wolves aren't being covered right now, their basic bitch infantry are an upgraded type of infantry. So, since their kits haven't been released yet, it's not really right of me to go into the nuts and bolts of the Space Wolves. We're going to wait a few weeks, hopefully they'll come out. Until then, we're just going to be keeping on basically in sequence. So, next week, Night Lords. The week after that, Blood Angels. And the week after that, we'll be looking at the Iron Hands, which is one I'm actually really looking forward to. So, anyway, I'm Mac with the Outer Circle. Thank you all for watching the episode. I hope you found it informative. I hope you liked the way it was performed, and I tried to do something a little bit jokey, a little bit different. May not be in everyone's taste. But anyway, this isn't how you have to build the army, as always. It's just my suggestion, because it allows you to have the building blocks to go on to bigger and better things down the line. I'm Mac with the Outer Circle, and I'll see you all next time.